How do you actually monitor AI usage inside your application? How do you know who is using AI the most? How many tokens are getting consumed? What prompts users are sending? What tools the AI is calling, etc. And here is the crazy part. We would be able to implement this setup without using any triggers or any dynamic actions, without using any custom JavaScript, and does not even require modifying your AI components individually. Everything is controlled centrally using a feature called AI attributes within Oracle Apex 26.1. And we can set up complete AI logging, governance, observability, and response interception in literally a few minutes just by using two PL/SQL procedures. And I'll be showing that in this video. In my previous video, we have seen how to enable AI search in Oracle Apex interactive reports within Oracle Apex 26.1. So I'll show this particular part and then I'll get started. So here I have asked AI assistant two questions or two prompts. So I have asked it to order by price and then to filter the data with given quantity. So now I have my SQL commands here and this particular part. So first I'll show the request log. So my request log shows the actual request which I sent from my application. So you could track the actual app ID, the application page from which this particular request is sent, and then the order of invocation, and also the user who is actually sending it and when they are sending it. This prompt text and other things I was able to capture it within the response and I couldn't capture it within the request. Maybe I can look into it in the upcoming days. And following it, we can look into the actual response from AI. So we would be able to get two response types from AI. One, we'll be able to get the tool response. So this won't have any response text. It will just have the tool data with which the actual filtering and other things would happen. And then finally, the response, which we would be able to see within here. So yes, and moreover, we can actually see the prompt text. So this is the prompt that I have given, and then first this tool call was made, and then this particular response was sent. And again, I did a follow-up request, and here we can see that particular prompt, and here we can see the tool call being used, and then finally here we can see the actual response from AI. And here we would also be able to see the latency, which I did a small math. So I was able to do a small math, and I was able to get a latency, but this is the most important part. So I was able to capture the total input tokens and then the total output tokens and the total tokens, which is a combination of input and output. I was able to get that. And moreover, if we would be able to drill much more deeper into the tools, and I have a separate table in which the actual tool name and then the tool arguments are called are stored. So here this would come in handy when we are implementing AI agents. So I'll cover that in the upcoming videos. So here we would be able to know when this tool was called, the tool call ID, and then the tool name along with the actual arguments. So initially I have asked it to sort it based on the price. So here you can see that sort tool was called along with the order as ascending order, and then along with the column name. And then I asked it to filter the values based on the column price with the quantity 300. So I have also provided it to be greater than. So so this operator should be greater than. So and then there is also a confidence score associated with it. So we can look into this in a much deeper way, and I'll show you how to set this up and the actual concepts, the math behind how this is set up currently in my system.
Welcome back to my channel Into the Oracleverse, where we learn about Oracle SQL, PL SQL, and Apex. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Let's get started. So to give a small gist, we are going to look into AI request and response handlers. And honestly, this feature is huge for enterprise applications because now we can centrally control AI behavior before and after every AI request. So let's jump straight into it. So this is the same application from my previous video where we enabled AI search on top of an interactive report. And currently, users can ask the AI assistant questions naturally against the application data. Now imagine this goes into production. Immediately we get in the enterprise level questions like who used it, what prompt did they send, how many tokens were consumed, and etc. And Oracle Apex 26.1 actually gives us a built-in centralized mechanism for all of this. So first, I have created these three centralized logging tables: one to capture the request, and then one to capture the response, and one to capture the actual tool usage related details. Now let's look into the request table in a much deeper way. So here I am storing the app user and the order of invocation can be seen here. and a system generated ID along with the created date. This message count and the prompt text. So initially I thought of getting the prompt text from the request itself, but I was unable to get it. There seems to be some issues. I am running into some issues, and hence I was able to take it from a response. So I just left it as such for now. But yeah, I'll look into this later, and if I get any updates, I'll post that. And if you get any update, you can just post it in the comment section as well. And then the request timestamp along with the application ID. So this will help us to understand in which application this particular request was made, and which page contributed to that particular request. And along with that, we'd also be able to get the session ID from which this request was made. And now let's go into the second table, the response table. So this is my centralized table, which have the actual input prompt, which was sent by the user. And then I have the actual response JSON from the AI assistant along with the total tokens, and then the type of response. So ideally, you can see that within the response JSON itself, the response type, and then if there are any errors associated with it, and then the total tokens. And along with that, we will also be able to get the split of the total tokens as input tokens and output tokens. And these will come in handy in upcoming. So there would be certain limits about on the token usage and things like that. And with this, we would be able to manage those things in a much better way. And we would also know who the app user associated with it, and then the response text which was sent by AI. Now let's look into the tool log. So here we would actually know the tools which are used to process the particular things. And this would become more extremely useful once we start building AI agents and tool enabled workflows within Oracle Apex. Now comes the interesting part. I only created two procedures, one request handler and one response handler. That's it. No triggers, no dynamic actions, no page level customizations. So I'll provide these prompts. I'll provide all these codes and other table related DDLs in a separate blog, and I'll share that link in the description. So you need not pass this page and then copy these things manually. I'll add those data in the description. So now here we can see that I am using a particular table. I am using just direct interest insert statements to push that particular data within the request table. And then this is the most important part, the response handler. So here I am actually storing the prompt inputs, and then I am also calculating the latency, and I am also logging the actual response data from the, and then the tool calls are also tracked here, and then I'm also logging it in a separate table. Now what are these handlers? So to explain that, I have a small visual. So this would be the actual workflow. So the request handler runs before the AA request is sent to the AA provider. So this becomes the perfect place for things like prompt validation, masking sensitive data if there are any. But that's not associated with interactive reports, as we are not sending the data across. But this might be useful in other places where yeah, sensitive data will be shared, especially when AA agents are used. And then prompt injection, detection, logging, etc., and even governance. So in this video, I'm keeping it simple, and I am just mainly using it for logging and timestamps. But the possibilities here are actually massive. And we have something called response handler. This runs after the AI provider sends the response back, but before the response is rendered inside the application. This is incredibly powerful because now we can log the AI responses, track the token usage, measure latency, inspect tool calls, mask sensitive information if there are any, modify the responses sent by AI, and we would also be we would also be able to enforce policies and implement enterprise AI governance centrally. And all the AI components inside the application automatically go through these handlers, these two handlers. Now we have set up the request and the response handlers. Now how to link it with the application? That's very easy. Let me go to app builder, and I'll choose the application of interest, and then I'll go to shared components. Within this, we have a section dedicated for generative AI, and the first option here. So this is A attributes. So here we would be able to choose the default A service which needs to be used by this given application, and we can provide a consent message here. So I'll cover a bit about this in the upcoming videos, and then here we can provide the request handler procedure. So just the name of the procedure is fine, and we'd be able to know more from this particular part, this particular help section. So we can just provide the request handler and the response handler, and that's it. Everything is done. And immediately, Oracle Apex starts routing all AI interactions through these procedures automatically. This is honestly such a clean architecture from the Apex team. Now let's test it. So let me come back to the application and let me just refresh it. Yes. Now let me type a message. I'll ask it to reset. We'll start with that. Yes, so it has reset the report. And now let me ask it to order it by price. Yes, so the sorting is done. Now let's go back to SQL commands and let me run the request log first. So our requests are tracked here. So initially there were just 4 records and now there are 8. So now let's go to response log and I can see additional logs here. So first I asked it to reset things. So this would be these two are associated with that. And then I have asked it to sort the price in the ascending order. So you can see my prompt here, order data by price. And yes, so I can see that particular part. Now let's go to the tool log and yes, I can see the reset option being applied, reset true, and then another sorting. So I asked it to sort by price and with the recent timestamp, I think it is this. Yes. So that is how it is done. And again, this was done without modifying the interactive report itself. Everything is centralized. This becomes extremely important for enterprise AI applications because governance and observability becomes critical once AI enters production systems. And this is just the beginning. Using these handlers, we can also implement sensitive data masking, content filtering, audit trials, AI cost monitoring, and custom approval flows, and several other things. I'll probably cover those use cases in future videos. So overall, Oracle Apex 26.1 is not just adding AI features, it is adding enterprise grade AI architecture capabilities directly into the platform. And honestly, the fact that we can implement centralized AI governance just by using two PL SQL procedures is incredibly impressive. Thanks for watching. And don't forget, all scripts and code samples will be available in the blog post, which would be linked in the description. And I'll see you again in the next video.
If this video helped you learn something new or find what you are looking for, please give it a like. It really helps the channel. I'd also love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to drop a comment below. And if you are interested in more content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again in the next video.